Yeah, no doubt about it. Xbox is fighting an uphill battle, and they'll probably continue to fight an uphill battle for the foreseeable future. And, one of the reasons why this is a thing and the way it's got to be is because, quite frankly, Sony really stuck it to Xbox. I mean, that's just the God's honest truth. They really just went all out to make Xbox seem like a undesirable platform. And, again, is this something that they can ever recover from? I think that's going to be a big question going forward. And one of the reasons is if you go back to the Xbox One, what really kind of happened to the Xbox in general is that PlayStation just really resonated with gamers, and they just attacked Microsoft's weak spots over and over and over again. And again, is that something that necessarily Microsoft could have ever come back from? I don't know. I think that you can always come back from some of these things that happen, but I also feel like at the end of the day, we see a situation where Microsoft really kind of screwed their fans a little bit, and being stuck where they're at right now isn't really a good spot. I'm going to get into this because, again, it's not trying to be too negative, but I just feel like I've got to be more honest and then talk about this bit of information that has come up because it's a really kind of super important piece of facts. So let's go ahead and get into it before too long. I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel. It means a lot to me personally. If you guys could help out, would be fantastic. Really, honestly, I do daily gaming content if you didn't know, and that's always super important. I try to be fun yet informative, so keep that in mind when you're looking for someone to subscribe to. So Shuhei Yoshida is talking a lot. He's doing interviews. He used to work for Sony, not anymore, and so he's making the rounds. I think probably wasn't really allowed to talk much during his years at PlayStation, so we found out a lot. I mean, obviously, listen, none of these companies are great companies, right? Let's just be real about it. Sony, Microsoft, trusting a corporation is one of the dumbest things you can do, hands down. But we find out now what his worst fear was being in Microsoft's position right now with Xbox, which is becoming the minority platform. Very interesting. Former Sony Interactive Entertainment executive Shuhei Yoshida has praised Microsoft's multi-platform push, calling it a win for PlayStation users. This comes as a recent interview where Yoshida said the company's ongoing strategy to release more Xbox games for PS5 and Switch allows players to experience titles they didn't have access to before. He says, and I quote, "I think it's a win for PlayStation owners. They didn't have access to those games before." He also continued saying that PlayStation becoming the minority platform was his nightmare. When he became the head of PlayStation First Party, he explained that it would be impossible to maintain the first-party development because the best creators would leave. So basically, his nightmare was PlayStation falling so far behind, and that would cause their first-party people to leave because they don't want to work for, a company that is, in last place and things like that. And you know what? I think that's a thing to really kind of have. That's a reasonable thing to be afraid of. If you look at what's happening to Xbox, they found it very difficult to retain any type of, people that are just interested in, keeping Xbox going. Like any kind of quality talent that they had. They kind of had to let go or whatever. So yeah, or they've left because you really kind of want to be able to keep have that top platform to reach people, and Microsoft just has not had that, unfortunately. Outside of the Xbox 360 for some years, obviously in North America and things, they really had a foothold there, but the kind of long and short of it is you can kind of understand why you wouldn't want to be stuck in that position if you are Shuhei Yoshida. And again, this is the guy Yoshida who helped destroy the Xbox One by doing that video with Adam Boyes. You guys probably remember it. This is how you share a game on PlayStation, right? Absolutely obliterated the the Xbox. Like, I mean, you can't get much worse than that in terms of, you know, what you're kind of doing. But yeah, interesting to say the least. He said that PlayStation becoming a minority platform was his nightmare, because, you know, the best creators would leave, saying, quote, they're not just creatives, they're business people as well. They want their games to reach the bigger audience as well. It's very natural if a platform is the minority, and if I were able to release a game on the minority platform only, it's unsustainable. That was the nightmare. Looking at the install base of Xbox hardware, it's kind of natural to understand what they're doing, and it's pretty straightforward. The company's multi-platform push kicked off last year when we saw Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, Pentiment, and Grounded make their way to the PS5. Obviously, Phil Spencer confirmed that he wants to release more games on other platforms. Among the already announced titles include Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Forza Horizon 5, Doom, Outer Worlds 2. There's not really any kind of red lines or anything like that. So yeah, there is that bit of aspect. But you can imagine, I mean, he's basically saying, you know, what a lot of us are kind of, saying in general, which is, you know, hey, if your console isn't selling well and you're not doing great, I honestly just feel like you don't have much of a situation where you can do much there. You know, it's unfortunate. You know, and I feel like, you know, Microsoft didn't really do enough to make sure that people wanted to stick around and game on the platform. And that's super unfortunate, but it's like, that's bad news. If you're an Xbox fan, you know, I look at that as very bad news that, you know, hey, they're starting to kind of do these weird things where, you know, gaming has kind of changed and come the long way, where, you know, we're not getting kind of what we're used to as fans. You know, we're used to getting exclusives, we're used to getting, you know, these different games and things that that people were excited about, you know, and now we're not really getting those things. So it's kind of unfortunate, to say the least. And again, like, give props to Yoshida for being honest about it. You know, his nightmare is where Microsoft is living right now. The only part that I can kind of decipher away with this whole situation where he's saying it's straightforward is, I believe it's kind of straightforward that, you know, they're cutting out, you know, the console stuff. You know, that's kind of where I'm at with this. So, you know, again, I really think that it's going to be a very different Xbox going forward, and I always kind of hesitate to even call it Xbox when I see some of this stuff, because, you know, like recently I was going to do a video, and maybe I will, where, you know, Satya Nadella was talking about committing to producing great quality games, but he doesn't talk about the console at all in there. You know, he's talking about AI, he's talking about cloud, he's talking about subscriptions. So yeah, you know, it's just kind of weird. It's great that you're committed to making good games, but, you know, what about the hardware to play the games? You know, it's just one of those things, and it's like, hey, I'm all for Microsoft creating some quality games, but it just doesn't really seem like they're super interested in doing that anymore. Outside of that, you know, it's just, okay, we're going to make games. They talk like a third-party company, multi-platform company. They don't talk about, a lot of these other things. You know, now Microsoft, of course, is going to have, you know, PlayStation and Nintendo logos on their things, and, you know, again, and we'll see what happens, you know. But I think that Microsoft is in a very, very difficult position. You know, I never said it was an easy position, but they did this stuff to themselves. They're the ones that kind of screwed themselves over and made it so that, you know, gaming is kind of this niche thing, or Xbox is this niche thing. They went all these years telling people that they didn't need to buy an Xbox, and they didn't buy an Xbox. So, you know, kind of is what it is. We'll see. We'll see if that can change things in the future. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions on this. You know, like I said, anything can happen, anything can change, and we'll see if Microsoft can get anything figured out in the future. You know, I would love to see Xbox kind of stick around and be a thing, but, you know, if it doesn't, it's just video games, and I understand that, you know, video games are going to be one of those things that, you know, a lot of people don't care about. You know, they think, hey, just relax, it's just video games. I get that a lot. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crap Gamer 'em up. I'll catch you guys here next time. Thank you so much. Crap Gamer out.